understanding that when we discuss violent extremism, when we discuss the fight against terrorism in Yemen, that what we're really talking about goes much beyond what we normally think of in that area. It's not about military cooperation, it's not only about security, but that it also has to include an effort on our part and on the part of the international community to help Yemenis address the very serious political, economic, and social challenges that the country confronts. And that the Secretary was very clear in describing for the Yemeni people that she met, one, that we understand the linkage between our ability to address these long-standing challenges, and two, that the United States is committed to developing a long-term partnership with the Yemeni people to help them address those challenges. As I said, the Secretary met with political opposition leaders as well as a cross-section of the Yemeni population in a town hall meeting. We believe that her visit really does strike a new balance, a new direction in U.S.-Yemeni relations. We made clear, I think, to the Yemeni people that, in fact, we don't see Yemen only through the optic, the lens of counterterrorism cooperation, but that, in fact, we have a broader approach, a broader commitment to the relationship. It also validated, I think, one of the points that I've stressed since I arrived, and that I had an opportunity to make to the Secretary before she made her visit, and that is that here in the U.S. you often hear a great deal about anti-Americanism in Yemen, the idea that the Yemeni people don't support the relationship, that they're not pleased with the presence of the United States in Yemen. This has not been my experience in the time that I've been there. And I told the Secretary that, in my view, what we have in Yemen is not anti-Americanism, but frankly a lack of familiarity that the Yemeni people feel for the United States, that the United States for many years has been absent from the scene in Yemen, that we haven't been a part of the lives of the people there, we haven't been a part of the solution to the challenges that they confront, and that what we need to do is to increase the role that we're playing, to increase our outreach, to increase our engagement with the Yemeni people to address these challenges. And certainly that was the experience that the Secretary had. It's interesting, of course, the Secretary was there on Tuesday, the 11th of January, on Friday, the 14th of January. The President of Tunisia left hurriedly as a result of violent opposition to his leadership in Tunisia, and the juxtaposition of how we can move forward positively and constructively in Yemen while facing these difficult problems in Tunisia was important and something to build on in the future. The Secretary's visit wasn't the beginning of the process. It was, in a sense, a capping of the process that we have begun earlier this year to really build the relationship and to redefine the nature of the interaction between the United States and Yemen, and to make clear our commitment to addressing the critical issues that confront the Yemeni people. At this particular juncture, the most immediate challenge that we have in Yemen is, in fact, the political challenge, the need to have a negotiated resolution, an agreement between the government and the political opposition on the issues of election reform and constitutional amendments as a lead-up to the scheduled 2011 parliamentary elections, and then to the 2013 presidential elections. Despite the agreement in February of 2009 that was revalidated in July of 2010, when I revived in September the dialogue, the negotiation between the General People's Congress and the joint meeting parties had stalled. They were not making any further progress. And so the United States, as part of our effort to promote political reconciliation and progress and to build strong democratic institutions, has taken a very active role in trying to promote the return to dialogue and a new effort to reach an agreement that will set the stage for a successful election. The position that we've taken, we think, is very clear, that while we believe that elections are important and we want to see the parliamentary elections held this year, we think that it's more important that those elections be seen by the Yemeni people themselves as well as by the international community, that those elections are legitimate and credible, that they include the participation of all of the parties in Yemen, and that you're welcome. And that it's more important to get the elections right than to have them on any particular day. So we have in particular been concerned and very focused on the issue of the voter registration list and what we consider to be an extremely important element, which is to ensure that all of the Yemeni citizens who are eligible to vote actually have an opportunity to vote. And that means revising and updating the voter registration lists that were last updated in 2008. We've also been very clear about what the United States is not going to do in terms of the negotiation. We're not going to get involved in refereeing the negotiations, in calling the balls and strikes, in stating an opinion about whether proposed amendments are good or bad. We believe that that is appropriately the role of the negotiators, appropriately the role of the Yemeni political parties themselves, and we've been clear that whatever is agreeable to those parties, whatever the negotiated solution is, we will support. In December, there was a decision on the part of the government to introduce into the Parliament a proposed election law reform. This was passed very hurriedly in a process that probably did not meet all of the requirements of the parliamentary procedure. We were concerned that we were going to follow that with a similar process involving constitutional amendments. And so for that reason, at the end of December, on December 31st, the State Department put out a statement that reiterated what our position was in terms of negotiation, in terms of the importance of having an agreed resolution of these issues between the opposition and the parties, and reminding both sides that it was important that they conducted these negotiations in accordance with the terms that they themselves had agreed on, as well as within the context of appropriate parliamentary process and procedure. There has been recently, since the Secretary's visit, move towards resumption of negotiations. There have been some new ideas that have been put on the table. We haven't reached an agreement yet, but we're hopeful that in fact we will reach an agreement and that there will be a successful election coming up in 2011. But the other point that we need to make is that the political process and the election process we see as only a way of moving us in a positive direction towards addressing what are really the most important challenges that the Yemeni people face, and those are by and large economic challenges. To take on the issues of poverty, of joblessness, of a lack of social services, health and education, and that for most Yemenis, these are the things that we need to address.